Mainz shall remain perfect at the top of the table over in the Bundesliga. That's right, with 4 wins out of 4. Hot on the heels, though, are Dortmund, Leipzig, and FC Köln. That's right, who, of course, will take full advantage this coming weekend. We're going to get into that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another video. Today we're taking a look at match number 5. That's right, over in the Bundesliga. And we'll get to that in a second. If you're new where you've been, hit the old subscribe. You want some shop all Bundesliga, Blabbernovers, World Football. We're all here under one roof here. That's right, Bayern, perfect record so far. Scoring 18 goals in their first 4 games. You do the math. That's easily, what are we looking at here? 4, 8, 12, 6. Easily 4 goals a game, goodness gracious me. Currently going down, though, we have Heidenheim, my boys, Mönchengladbach, and, of course, Augsburg, that's right, in that playoff contending spot. Meanwhile, of course, all action in this week, of course, could shake that up big time. But, of course, we'll get into all that in a minute. Big shout out to the members, big shout out to the patrons, of course. Your one-stop shop for the Bundesliga is right here. So, here we go then, guys. Recap of the results from this past weekend. Then look forward to this weekend's drama. Then, shall we, starting off with the recap of the results. My predictions down the left-hand side, the real deal was on the right. So kicking it all off with Stuttgart's 2-0 winners of St. Pauli. And with a 3-1 win, not too shabby. Stuttgart, they did, Werder Bremen losing at home to Freiburg. Goodness gracious me, I went the other way. Augsburg also losing heavily to Mainz, 4-1 win. Bayern, of course, with that impressive 4-1 away win against Hoffenheim. As predicted, Hamburger SV picking up a 2-1 win over Heidenheim. Got that one spot on the nose. Leipzig also coming out top with a win over Köln. 3-1 winners for them. They're up to 3rd. Frankfurt with a 7-goal thriller, but they lost to Union Berlin. As for my boys, Mönchengladbach with a solid point on the road against Leverkusen. But of course, they tumbled down towards the bottom 2. And then Dortmund with a 1-0 win over Wolfsburg to put them into 2nd spot. The table looks like this, guys. As you see, it is Bayern. Top of the charts right here, right now, with Dortmund in 2nd spot. Leipzig, Köln in the top 4 right now. It is, of course, early bloody days, but of course it is concerning for Borussia Mönchengladbach and Hamburg SV for being down towards the bottom end this early in the season. We have a Super Brew, of course. It is live. We're going to take a look at it right here, right now. So sit tight, hold on, and have a look who is currently top of the charts over in the Bundesliga. Oh, as you expected, guys, Tennessee is kicking ass and taking names with 12 points for himself. Xander's up there with 11, and so is Jimmy Wood. I'm just outside in 4th place with 9.5 with the Kingslayer alongside me, of course. But it is still early days in the league. But, of course, currently there's only one person at the top. That is me. That's right, 37.5 points, number 1 in the Bundesliga, baby. Bring it on like Donkey Kong, of course. Big move, though, Tennessee up 12 spots to number 8. He's bringing in the A game. Zip up 6 spots to 12, as did Finlay as well. Some other moves and shakers, some going the wrong way, including Vinny Hung down 10 spots alongside Vindaloo Victory. But of course, early days in the old Bundesliga. Don't get your knickers in a twist. We'll be back, of course, next week with plenty of action. But here is the link if you want to get involved. But we are now looking forward to these games, which are coming at you this coming Wochenende, as they say over in Germany. Kicking it all off with a trip to the Allianz Arena. That's right, Bayern's boys. That's Vinny Company, top of the charts, of course, coming at you up against Bremen. Horst Steffen is the coach there. Just 1 win in the last 6, of course, but they currently find themselves in 14th place. They've played Bayern 73 times since 1992. It's been 47 wins for the champions, 16 wins for Bremen, and there's been 10 draws. They last played at this venue. It was a 3-0 win for Bayern, who did the double over Bremen last season, scoring 8 goals in the 2 games between them. Of course, that seems to be the going rate at the moment. Bayern on the back of that 4-1 win away to Hoffenheim. Freiburg beating Bremen last time around at the Wasserstadion, that's right. But coming into this, the bookies go with Bayern, of course, red-hot favourites. Of course, there's only one winner here, 3-0 winners. And Bremen taking it. Meanwhile, we're going to go to Mainz as they take on Dortmund. Bit of a derby, this one in the Meanwhile Arena. I'm up Mainz under Bo Henriksen, our 13th right now. 4 points for them for the season, just 1 defeat in the last 4. Up against Dortmund under Niko Kovac, they're top second in the table. 10 points for them. They're unbeaten in at least the last 6. They played Mainz 40 times since 2004. 8 wins Mainz, 22 wins for Dortmund. There's been 10 draws. They last played over at Mainz. It was a 3-1 win for the hosts back in November 2024. In fact, it's been back-to-back wins for Mainz at this venue. In fact, they've only lost once against Dortmund in the last 5. But that was the most recent match at the Signal Iduna Park. Mainz on the back of that 4-1 away win to Augsburg. Dortmund with that 1-0 win over Wolfsburg. Back-to-back clean sheets in the Bundesliga. But the bookies are odds for this one. It's a tight one, but they do favour Dortmund for the W. I'm going to go with a 2-2 scoreline on this bitter encounter. Let's go to Wolfsburg now as they take on Leipzig coming out to the Volkswagen Arena. Wolfsburg under Paul Simonis. They're 12th right now, 5 points for the season, winless in the last 3. Up against Leipzig on the Ole Werner, just one defeat in the last 5. They have played 26 times, these two clubs, since 2011. 7 wins Wolfsburg, 13 wins Leipzig. There's been 6 draws. They last played over at Wolfsburg. 3-2 winners it was for Leipzig. That's back in April 2025. Of course, it's been back-to-back wins for Leipzig in between the two sides and different venues. Leipzig, though, on the back of that 3-1 win over Köln to make it 3 wins on the bounce. Just 1 goal conceded in the last 3. Up against Wolfsburg on the back of that 1-0 loss to Dortmund. Bookies odds for this one is a tight one. I think Wolfsburg just edge it. I've gone with the bookies on this one. 1-0 winners as well for Wolfsburg to maybe cause a bit of an upset over in the Bundesliga. Meanwhile, St. Pauli taking on Leverkusen. That's coming out of the Millantor Stadion. Alexander Blezin. His boys are 5th right now. 7 points for the season. Just 1 defeat in the last 6. Up against Leverkusen, the Kasper Hujman are the 11th right now. Just 1 defeat in the last 6 as well. But they've drawn 3 of the last 4. Now, they're taking on St. Pauli 13 times since 1995. 3 wins St. Pauli, 5 wins Leverkusen. There's been 5 draws. They last played, of course, at St. Pauli. It was a 1-1 scoreline back in April 2025. Leverkusen, though, are unbeaten against St. Pauli over the last 6. They've drawn a lot, but they have won 3 of that last 6. St. Pauli, though, on the back of that 2-0 loss to Stuttgart. Leverkusen with that draw at home to Mönchengladbach. The bookies are odds for this one. They'll give it to Leverkusen. They will. I will also give it to them as 2-1 winners against the strong St. Pauli side, but it is a Leverkusen side trying to get going at the moment. Meanwhile, Heidenheim against Augsburg coming at you over at the Voltat Arena. Heidenheim at a Frank Schmidt right now. 18th for the table. No points for them. Just 1 win in the last 5. That was probably in the DFB Pokal. Meanwhile, Augsburg, Sandro Wagner's boys are 16th right now. 3 points for them. 4 defeats on the spin. And they're taking on Heidenheim for the 11th time. Of course, the previous 10, 3 wins Heidenheim, 5 wins Augsburg, 2 draws. They last played, of course, at Heidenheim. It resulted in a 4-0 win for Heidenheim back in September 2024. Heidenheim, though, did lose to Hamburg most recently 2-1. As for Augsburg, 4-1 loss to Mainz most recently. So not the greatest start for them at all. They haven't won since opening day, but the bookies odds, the bookies odds for this one, they'll go with Augsburg, the visitors here. I'm going with a draw, just not too sure about them at the moment, either side. Meanwhile, my boys Mönchengladbach take on Frankfurt, that's right, currently at Borussia Park. Gladbach in 17th right now, just 2 points for the season. Ugen Polanski is the coach at the moment, up against Dino Topmoller's Frankfurt, who sits 6th with 6 points. Now, they played 52 times since 1992. 21 wins for Gladbach, 18 wins for Frankfurt. There's been 13 draws. They last played over at Mönchengladbach, resulting in a 1-1 scoreline. In fact, the last 2 at Borussia Park ended up all square. Frankfurt, though, are unbeaten against Mönchengladbach over the last 6. They've won 3 and they've drawn 3. Coming into this, though, Gladbach on the back of that 1-1 scoreline away to Leverkusen. Frankfurt did lose, though, to Union Berlin at home as well. Their last away match was a defeat to Leverkusen. The bookies odds for this one, they still will give it to Frankfurt while Gladbach are in this identity crisis. I've gone with a 1-0 win, surprise win for Gladbach. Maybe a new manager bounce. Maybe Polanski put himself in the spotlight for this job as well. Meanwhile, Freiburg come at you up against Hoffenheim. It's coming at you on Sunday, the 28th of September. Freiburg under Julian Schuster, they're 7th right now. 6 points for them, back-to-back wins. Up against Hoffenheim, Christian Ilsner's boys are 9th. 6 points for them, just 1 defeat in the last, 2 defeats in the last 3. Taking on Freiburg 34 times in the past, since 2007. 15 wins Freiburg, 7 wins for Hoffenheim, 12 draws. They last played at Europa Park Stadion. It was a 3-2 win for Freiburg back in April 2025. Freiburg are unbeaten against Hoffenheim over the last 6, picking up 4 wins and a couple of draws. It's actually been 3 wins on the bounce at the very least for Freiburg at this venue, but they're coming into this on the back of a win themselves. 3-0 win over Bremen at Bremen. Hoffenheim on the back of that 4-1 loss to Bayern. The bookies are odds for this one. They'll give it to Freiburg. I think I am also going that way. 2-1 winners as well. Into the final 2, we've got Köln High Flyers up against Stuttgart. That's right. Not having the okay season so far. It's coming to the Rhine Energy Stadion. Köln under Lukas Kawajaskanok. They are 4th right now, 7 points for the campaign. Just back-to-back games without a win. I'm against Stuttgart and Sebastian Hoeneß, just 1 defeat in the last 5. Now, they played 46 times since 1992. 15 wins apiece and 16 draws. They last played at Köln. It was a 2-0 win for Stuttgart back in September 2023. Stuttgart are unbeaten against Köln over the last 6, picking up 4 wins and a couple of draws in all competitions, all sizes, and they're coming into this on the back of a 2-0 win over St. Pauli themselves. Köln, though, back-to-back games without a W, drawing away to Wolfsburg, losing away to Leipzig. Last time they were at home, though, they picked up a 4-1 win over Freiburg. In fact, they've only played once at home this season. Coming into this, though, Stuttgart are fancied by the bookies, but they are in action in the old Europa Cup, Europa League there, so they might be a little bit worn out from that game. But I've got to back Köln for a surprise victory, 2-1 winners to make it another win at home. And finally, we go to Berlin as they take on Hamburg. That's Union Berlin. Stefan Baumgart's boys are 10th right now, 6 points for the season. They won 3 and they've lost 3 over the last 6. Hamburg and Berlin posing just 1 win in the last 5. They played Union Berlin twice since 2018. 1 win for Berlin, nothing for Hamburg. There's been 1 draw. They last played over at Berlin. It was a 2-0 win for the hosts back in April 2019. Union Berlin on the back of that 7-goal thriller. 4-3 away win to Frankfurt. Hamburg, though, also picking up a win against Heidenheim most recently. The bookies' odds for this one, they'll go to Union Berlin for the W. It's a tight game, difficult game, and honestly, I don't know which way to go, but I'm going to have to lean towards Union Berlin at this moment in time. 1-0 winners for the hosts, and if I'm right, this is what the table will look like. It'll be Bayern at the top, Dortmund second, Köln in third, Freiburg fourth. Going down, Heidenheim, Hamburg, and Werder Bremen. Goodness gracious me. But they all change, of course. Don't forget the old prediction league, and don't forget to drop us what your thoughts down below. Of course, we'll look forward to seeing you whenever we return, but until then, we're just about done.